Hello all. Um, in this particular video, I am actually going to talk about an important topic called Enterprise Agility Transformation Roadmap. Okay, so uh, considering the case that if you are currently playing the role of a program level coach or actually probably a portfolio level coach or a kind of a enterprise agile coach, this particular video is actually going to help you how you can actually create a enterprise level agility transformation roadmap, right, with clearly defined milestones mapped to the timelines like q1, q2, q3, q4. Okay, so before I get into this particular video, let me introduce myself. My name is Balaji. I have somewhere close to 21 years of experience in IT and somewhere close to 15 years of experience in this field of agile. And in the past, I have played multiple roles like a Scrum Master, Senior Scrum Master, Agile Coach, Agile Transformation Consultant, Transformation Lead. In fact, I had also played the role of an Executive Coach. And in the past, I have also played the role of the Head of the Agile Transformation Office. Okay, so what I actually thought to do is in this particular video, I have already written a LinkedIn article on this particular topic. So let me go ahead and then share the article, and then I will parallelly try to walk through you that particular article, and I will also going to show you real-time templates used in some of my projects or in the earlier engagements, because there is always a difference between downloading a template from the Google and using a template based on someone's experience in the previous uh, projects, because any kind of a template which you download from the Google is actually going to give you the content but not the context, right? So let me go ahead and then share it. 1 minute. Okay, so if you look into this particular if you look into this particular article, right? 1 second, please. All right. So if you look into this particular article, I have actually clearly called out what are all the parameters, what are all the dimensions which we need to keep in mind if we are going to design a enterprise level transformation roadmap. So if you scroll through this particular article here, if you click on this, it is also giving you a sample template or the image. I'm okay, but then in this particular video, I'm actually going to share you that particular exact Excel file itself. Before I go to the template, let us now spend some time to understand the context over here, right? So okay, so what are all the parameters? Now you need to think practically. Okay, what do you mean by an agile transformation roadmap? Roadmap is something which is going to tell you what are all the activities that we are going to do so as to accomplish the envisaged goal mapped to the timelines, right? Even if you're taking a product roadmap, it is going to tell if I need to achieve that particular product vision or the product goal along the timeline, what are all the activities which I need to do. That is more like a plan towards the goal, right? Now if you think practically, right, without factoring the parameters or the attributes like a technology, organizational design, people, leadership aspects, culture, you cannot do a transformation, right? Now multiple literatures tell slightly different. Now if you take my experience when I was working 3 to 4 years back as an enterprise agile coach or a transformation consultant, I was actually looking into some of the parameters like a customer organization, tools and infrastructure, agile project management capabilities, followed by the software business processes and people people interaction. Now the point what I'm trying to tell is without having focus on the technology, organizational design, people, leadership and culture, and without sustaining these primary attributes or aspects or dimensions, you cannot do an enterprise level agile transformation. Okay, now the point is depending upon the scope of the transformation, depending upon the boundary of the transformation, the context can slightly change depending upon your product line or LOB or your product group, because every transformation comes with a goal, comes with a context, and every transformation operates in a certain bounded context, right? So depending on it, the parameters could slightly change. In this particular video, I am sharing my experience. Probably if you go to some other mentor or a coach, he or she may give you their own experience as obvious. Now, okay, now let us spend some time to go through this. Okay, now if you look into the technology, what are all the things I have mentioned over there? Cloud based initiatives, revamping from the legacy to the cutting edge tech stack, implementations of microservices based architecture models, and artificial intelligence assisted agile outcomes, right? So these are all some of the things I have actually mentioned. Now, for now, please don't try to understand word by word, because in the sheet I'm anyway going to explain you. For now, I'm going to explain you what are all the colors of the rainbow. Okay, and then we will take each and every color and then we will slice and dice it. Okay, now first thing I have covered the technology. Now second thing is the organizational design, because without having a robust, without having a sustainable change management, organization change management processes, you cannot do an effective agile transformation. So in my agile mentorship program, I always give this example to my mentees over there, that you need to prepare the soil before you sow the seed, right? So if you are trying to sow the seed without preparing the soil, the seed goes for waste. Along the similar line of thought, when you are thinking about your agile transformation as a prerequisite or as a precursor activity, you need to factor your organizational design. Okay, now you think practically. If you want to really fund a value stream, you need to move away from your annual budgeting to something called a rolling wave or a dynamic budgeting. And if you want to really do value stream based funding model, you need to identify the value stream first. Many of the agile experts jump on to doing value stream mapping. They actually tell VSM, I am going to do value stream mapping, and I am going to do the flow, calculate the flow efficiency based on the lean concepts. Perfectly fine. But had you identified your value stream first of all, right? It could be an operational value stream, also called as a customer value stream, or it could be a development value stream, also called as the product value stream. If I want to correlate or corroborate some references from the SAFe framework, right? But the point what I'm trying to say is, just to stay focused on this particular post, your organization change management, your organization change management processes should also take care, like no your 1 second, wait, yeah, your organization change management process. For example, if I want to really get a better grip on the value stream, I may need to introduce a role called a value stream lead. And if I don't have a role called value stream lead, it will be it will be very difficult to look into the optimization aspects in that value stream. That is where your organizational design aspects play a very predominant role. And see, and if you take Jira Align, right? I was extensively using Jira Align in one of the engagement. People think Jira Align is actually doing a portfolio level management kind of a capability. Perfectly fine. But then try to understand, a PMO portfolio is something different from a strategic portfolio. Because when I talk about a lean portfolio management, LPM, I'm not going by the definition of the PMO portfolio. I am talking about lean portfolio management. And what is lean portfolio management? You may need to read the materials to have a good theoretical grip on it. Okay, now the third thing is the people. So what do you mean by people? Enabling people, because it is ultimately the people who are going to run the show, right? Even if you have any tool, any processes, whatever, blah blah blah, xyz abc, without enablement and empowerment of the people, without creating a consensus, without creating communication, collaboration, coordination, you cannot do any magic in the system. So decentralized decision making, team based funding models, and your HR team also need to do quarterly based performance appraisal to the team, right? So these are all some of the ways by which we can enable and empower the people, which is called the people. Fourth thing is the leadership support. So here I actually talked about your OKRs, your objective and key results, your key result areas, followed by your KPIs, key performance indicators, and then also GQM, goal question metrics, right? So how does the leadership is actually going to support, and how does the leadership is going to be like a driving engine for the train, right? Those kind of aspects will be covered in the leadership, and followed by the culture. So in culture, one of the custom model what we have used is, let's say, heart model, HEART. H stands for happiness index, E stands for engagement, A stands for adoption, R stands for retention, and T stands for task success. Okay, now let me spend a time on the culture before I go and show you the sheet. Now, many people tell you start with a cultural transformation because culture is very important. Yes, I fully agree, culture is very important. That doesn't mean that you will start with cultural transformation. Why? Because culture is something very sensitive aspect. Culture is something which is very subtle, and culture is something which is a bit of an intangible. It is not like a density is equal to mass by volume, right? Obviously. So I generally tell, whenever I am doing a digital transformation or business transformation or agile transformation, I generally try to position culture in the wave 2, phase 2, or wave 3, phase 3 of the agile transformation journey. Let me tell why. Because we need to start with new ways of working, and these new ways of working is actually going to introduce new behaviors, and these new behaviors over a period of time should become habits, and a sustained habit is going to become a culture, right? See, now the point what I'm trying to say is, we are talking about a transformation at a large scale level, 1,000 people, 1,500 people, and I don't want to bring the cultural aspect at the beginning before doing the groundwork, because I need to prepare my soil first before I sow the seed, right? Same concept applies here too. So what I generally tell based upon my experiences, don't try to make a cultural aspect into the transformation at the very beginning itself. Once you are able to achieve a sustainability after few program increments or after few releases, then you can bring in the aspect of a culture, right? So this is what we need to keep in mind. Now what I'll do, I'll stop sharing the screen, and then I will walk you through that particular real time template what we have for the enterprise agile transformation roadmap. Just give me a minute. So mm, okay, so here if you see this particular thing, right? So on the column A, like I have populated column A with technology, organizational design, people, leadership, culture, and then okay, I'm just giving you a tentative indicator or a draft version of the real-time agile transformation roadmap. Of course, based upon your context, based upon your scope, you may need to customize this. Okay, that is obviously understood. This is just a pointer, and I had internally made sure that none of the client data and none of the organization data has been shared over here. This is a template what I created for the sake of this particular YouTube video, and for the sake of posting it on the social media platforms. If you take a real time transformation roadmap of companies or large banks, it's not as easy as this. But for you, for okay, with that good intent to help you people to see, okay, to actually envision how does a real-time agile transformation roadmap look like, I have created this particular sheet just to no just to create a visibility on the social media platforms. Now if you go to Google and then try to browse some agile transformation roadmap, yes, you still get it, something along the timelines, something along the activities, and for the timeline, whichever activity, you may need to position the appropriate action items, right? This is the funda. Okay, now if I take this as a model and then if I create a transformation roadmap, the transformation roadmap looks like this. And for all practical reasons, there is no guarantee that every activity will be completing within the quarter boundary. But in this template, just to make life easy for me to explain you people, I have taken the assumption that every activities are starting at the beginning of the quarter and then ending at the end of the quarter. But in a real time project execution, there is no guarantee, and it is not mandatory. It is not guarantee, it is not mandatory that you need to map it exactly to the timelines of the quarterly boundary dates. That's what I am trying to tell. Now if you see here, no, AI assisted agile, AI assisted chatbots, AI assisted canvas insights, agile dojo trainings, AI assisted canvas DevOps, these are all the artificial intelligence assisted utilities what we have created. Let's say for the user persona, product owner, user persona, business analyst, user persona, RTA, user persona, scrum master, right? So what am I trying to say is, this is just a model. If you wanted me to really mentor you, and if you wanted me to really coach you on all these segments, probably you may need to connect with me offline. I will be sharing my WhatsApp number in the description, or in the comment section of this particular video once I upload it, and then you can ping me on WhatsApp, and then we can fix a time to have a conversation. In this particular video, I can only touch on a very high level, right? Now if you take organizational design, alignment of strategic themes to enterprise OKRs. Now people tell, okay, this looks like a theory. Can you give me an example? Yes, obviously I have written an example over here. Funding existing core services and giving priority to accelerating new services. Something like this. If I right click this and then explain you, I think it will be in a better manner. One second. Let me. Okay, so if you see here, existing core services, accelerating new services, building new re-imaging mature products and platforms, microservices enabled architecture, cloud computing based initiatives. So where does my money is going to go? For what reason? Because strategic theme is something which is going to create your portfolio vision to the overall enterprise organization OKR, right? So that particular connecting thing is this strategic team. And if you take my customized agile framework also, there also I have created an entity or a block for this particular one. So these are all some of the examples: microservices enabled architecture, cloud based initiatives, hyper automation, right? Similarly, if you go to people, decentralized decision making, team based funding models, team focused quarterly based performance appraisal. So like you can take, see, now the point is like that, these are all the layers of the cake. Something on technology, something on organizational design, something on people, something on the leadership support, something on the culture. Now if you are a wise person, you can apply the concept of a vertical slicing over here also. Means what? It is not that vertical slicing can be applied only to a user story. The same transformation roadmap, when I'm going to implement it, I need certain elements from the technology, certain elements from the organizational design, certain elements from people, leadership, uh, culture, bundled it together as the goals for that particular quarter called a Q3 2022, right? So you still do your vertical slicing, you take an MVP cut, minimum viable product cut, even for the agile transformation roadmap. Don't think that the concepts of MVP can be used only in projects, only in products. No, the concepts of a MVP and all this vertical slicing is not only for the system of a delivery, is also for the system of transformation, like creating an agile transformation roadmap, creating a coaching plan. Okay, all those aspects. Now if I want to tell you a little bit more conceptually on the enterprise level agility, this is how This is how I had done enterprise level transformation for some of my clients in the past. We have taken certain elements from the finance team, certain aspects from the pre-sales team, certain aspects from the operation team, certain aspects from the HR team. Then we created a enterprise level transformation backlog and started assigning these particular action items to the change agents, right? So if I want to show it in an enterprise level agility health radar at a portfolio level, this is how I have created a real-time enterprise agility health radar at a portfolio level. Similarly, if I wanted to show the concept what I explained you, legal team, my marketing team need to understand about minimum viable product, minimum marketable feature, minimum marketable releases, blah blah blah. And some teams need to, and my finance team need to understand the concept of dynamic budgeting, a rolling wave kind of an approach. HR team need to understand about quarterly based performance appraisal. My operation team need to understand about the calmer approach to the DevOps culture, automation, lean flow, measurement metrics, recovery. So these are all some of the parameters which I have considered. Okay, by the by, I just want to give a disclaimer here. My intention is not to use a jargon, but the point is, if I wanted to explain you correctly the certain concepts, I need to use the right vocabulary, right? It is going to become a jargon only when I use something without understanding the meaning of it, without understanding the purpose or context of the word. Nothing is a jargon in this world if it is used with understanding the meaning, the intent, purpose, and the context of it. Because some people, when I make a YouTube video, they write a comment saying, Balaji, the video looks good, but please don't use a jargon. Because in the place of lean portfolio management, I still need to use the word only lean portfolio management. In the place of dynamic budgeting, I still need to use the word dynamic budgeting. I cannot replace the word with XYZ because when the words get changed, the meaning gets distorted. Right. So from that perspective, I just want to put a disclaimer over there. I am using these words with an experiential insight, not just theoretically from the books. And this is the proof for that, right? This is how we have practically created it. I'm showing you the real-time radar chart. Okay. Now what I like to say is, for the beginners, for the beginner level people, you can still take some inputs from internet, like how does an agile transformation roadmap look like. You can put your quarterly timelines on the top, and on the left you can put the phases, your milestones, blah blah, whatever the parameters, and in the intersection points possibly you can position the actual activities. Okay, so just to paraphrase the understanding till now, we have seen in this particular video how is that we can practically create, how is that we can practically create an enterprise level transformation roadmap. And if you wanted to know more on this, if you wanted to stay in touch with me, I will be pinging my WhatsApp number in this particular video comments or a description. And I also wanted you to do one thing. Let me just show you. And I also wanted you to go to my YouTube channel. You can just try to Google Agile Mentorship Program Balaji. It will be anyway taking you to my YouTube channel, right? And by the time I upload this video itself, it will be one of the video on my YouTube channel, as obvious, right? So no need to hunt for the channel. You can just go through. These are all the videos which I created based on my real-time experience in multiple engagements. Okay, generally I have the habit of not teaching people anything which I haven't experienced till date. Okay, for example, if I'm teaching people on something called balance sheet driven agile transformation in my level 3 agile mentorship program, all it means that I have implemented balance sheet driven agile transformation in some of the engagements in the past. That's why I'm taking those concepts, and of course here and there I will customize it for the target audience. So I don't have the habit of teaching people something which I had not experienced it in the first place, right? So from that perspective, I have created these particular videos. We have somewhere close to 90 videos, or rather 91 videos pertaining to agile and the context around agility. You can go through this particular video. And for example, okay, one second, give me a minute, I'll just show you my website also. I have not loaded the page before I started the recording. So please do wait for a please do wait for some time. All right, it has came now. Okay, so if you look into this website balajiagile.com, if you go to my website on alternate Saturdays or every Saturday, I used to take a free webinar. You can register for the free webinar here. You can click on this link, fill a form, and then you can download 50 agile interview questions created by me based on my experience as the interview panel member. These questions are not questions which I took it from some other source. All these questions are written by me, formulated by me, based upon my experience as an interview panel member for umpteen jobs in Agile. And this is a pictorial representation of my own customized Agile framework. And this particular diagram is the what we call as an AMP, Agile Mentorship Program Framework for different user personas or a different target group. We have different lesson plans. So you can go through these particular lesson plans too. And then if you are okay to connect with me, probably you can ping me on WhatsApp. We can actually set up some time for a discussion. Okay. Okay. So um, the point what I was trying to tell, no, like before we wrap up this particular webinar, sorry, this particular recording, uh, the point is we have three main systems or three main pillars of agility. One is called a system of a delivery. Second is called a system of transformation, and third is called a system of a continuous improvement. Now, when you talk about system of a delivery, it is primarily going to focus on the product roadmap, your project release planning, your milestone level planning for the project, your release road mapping, all those things. If you take system of transformation, your agile transformation roadmap, your agile coaching plan, all those things will come in the system of a transformation. When you talk about system of continuous improvement, it is going to focus, uh, it is it is going to focus on a retrospective action items and the fulfillment of retrospective action items through a Kaizen backlog. Now, the point is all these three roadmaps should be in harmony or it should be resonating well. Your coaching plan should not go in one direction. Your product roadmap should not talk about something else. Your project release planning should not talk about something else. Now, see, the point is when I say this, many people may think this is commonsensical, but you tell me how many of you in your engagements in complex IT engagement have a synchronization among these particular backlogs or the roadmaps what I told. Only very few projects have this synchronization. We need to make it synchronous, right, over a period of time. That is where the role of a agile coach or an agile transformation consultant or a transformation lead, whatever be the role, comes in. Okay, so I hope this particular video was helpful to you for the time that you had invested in this. If you have any queries, you can connect with me. As always, I will be helping people in their career trajectory using agile. Okay, so let's hope to see you in some other video soon. Okay, cheers, bye.